Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of the Midweek Mini. Like some of the other shows recently, I got to start this one off with an apology too. I had every intention of getting this out at the normal time. I was going to record last night, but here's what happened. So I've got bronchitis and my asthma is really bad, and so the medicine that I'm on, it makes me really sleepy. Well, it don't usually kick in the beginning. It takes a little while for it to start making me drowsy. Well, last night I thought, I'm going to go ahead, take my medicine, and then by the time I finish recording, I'll be nice and sleepy and can get some good sleep tonight. Well, that's not what happened at all. After I took my medicine, I had to find something for Nicholas. It's Spirit Week at school, but so you have to dig out the weird and ridiculous stuff for Spirit Week. But anyway, after that, I was yawning so much, I thought there is just no way that this is going to get recorded tonight. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll just go on to bed, and I'm going to get up in the morning a little bit earlier than I normally do and get it recorded, get Nick to school, and everything will be wonderful. Well, my alarm clock went off this morning, y'all. I could not make myself get up, and I do apologize. I am dedicated to y'all, but y'all, that medicine, it leaves me drowsy for hours. So anyway, here we are, and it's getting close to noon on the East Coast, and I'm just now recording on the day that it publishes. I'm very sorry. I sincerely mean this, okay? But anyway, so this week what we're going to do is we're starting a new mini series, and it's going to be on our Wednesdays, and we're going to be talking about Black Widows, not the spider kind. I'm talking about the kind who prey on men. So we're going to be starting off with a woman by the name of Betty Lou Beets. So if you're ready, we'll get this show started.
Triple M Studios proudly presents Midweek Minis. And here's your host, Andrea Lee.
All right, so we're talking about Betty Lou Beets. Now, not that it's any excuse, but Betty Lou, she had a very unstable start to life. She was born in Roxborough, North Carolina in the year 1937. And when she was still really little, the family moved to Danville, Virginia so that her parents could get better paying jobs. Well, when she was only 3, Betty got the measles. And then it was like a chain of unfortunate events because the measles weakened her immune system. And then she had 3 really bad ear infections. Well, these really bad ear infections caused her to lose most of her hearing. And if that wasn't bad enough, there was kids at school that were making fun of her because she struggled to hear her teachers. Well, soon after that, she started being abused. She claims that when she was 5 years old, she was sexually abused by her dad and several other people that she was close to. Around that time, around the time that Betty Lou was 14, she and her mom, they were very close, but her mom, she had this nervous breakdown, and she was hospitalized for about a week. She was given medication, and she, went to several doctors, but she was never really the same again because she started having hallucinations, and she became hysterical, so the only thing they could do at that time was institutionalize her. Well, this put the added responsibility of Betty Lou raising her younger sister and brother. And around that same time, Betty Lou's dad fell into a deep depression, and because of it, he became a heavy drinker. And he would become so infuriated, I guess when he was in his drunken rages, that he would get so infuriated over the least little thing that Betty Lou did or perhaps didn't do, and he would beat her with a belt. When she was 15, she married a man named Robert Franklin Branson, and this would be the first of 5 marriages. Now, apparently, Betty Lou's mom had arranged this marriage, and she did it just before she was institutionalized. Goodness gracious, y'all. But Robert was 4 years older than Betty Lou, and after about a year of marriage, the two separated because Betty Lou said that he was abusive. Now, this marriage had made Betty Lou very bitter because she was so young when she married, and she didn't get to finish her education. Well, the bitterness and everything that comes with it made Betty Lou attempt suicide. Shortly after her suicide attempt, she and Robert, they got back together, but by 1969, their marriage was, like, officially just, done. And they got a divorce. Well, the following year, Betty Lou married a man named Billy York Lane, and this was another abusive relationship for Betty Lou. Now, during one particular fight, Billy broke Betty Lou's nose. And what did she do for revenge? She freaking shot him. She was charged with attempted murder, but Billy told the authorities that he had threatened her first, so her charges were dropped from attempted murder to aggravated assault. Their marriage actually ended in 1972, just 2 years after they married. Well, in 1973, Betty Lou started dating a man named Ronnie Threckhold, and the two of them tied the knot in 1978. But this union ended the next year when Betty Lou tried to run over Ronnie with her car. Now, the following year, and we're up to 1979, by the way, Betty Lou married her 4th husband. His name was Doyle Wayne Barker, but he went by Wayne. Now, these two were happy for a few months, but it wasn't long before the abuse started again. And Betty Lou would confide in her children about how abusive he was to her. And, of course, they would tell her to leave, but she responded with that she was too afraid to. Now, at some point, she told her daughter, Shirley, that she was afraid that the only way she could leave him would be to kill him. Well, y'all, I've been in 2 abusive relationships myself, and I can truly understand where she was coming from. But I just keep wondering, and I was wondering the whole time I was doing the research for this episode, could this woman have been really abused in every one of those relationships? I mean, it's possible, and I'm not here to call anybody a liar. I wasn't there. But anyway, she told her daughter that the only way she felt that she could leave Barker was to kill him, so she did. But it would be a while before anyone would know that. Betty Lou told her friends and neighbors that she and Barker had had an argument and he took off. Well, when he supposedly took off, he left his truck there with Betty Lou. On August the 6th, 1983, Betty Lou reported Barker missing, and she gave the police a totally different story than what she'd been telling everyone else. She told the police that Barker had went night fishing and he never came back. Well, shortly after reporting him missing, Barker's boat was spotted floating on the lake, but Barker was nowhere to be found. The only thing that they could find was his nitroglycerin pills scattered around the floor of the boat, so they assumed that maybe he had had a heart attack and fell overboard. Authorities spent 3 weeks dragging the lake, but they couldn't find a body. Well, Betty Lou might would have gotten away with that killing, but she killed another spouse. And she probably would have gotten away with it too if she hadn't made like a couple of critical mistakes. Her biggest mistake, other than killing 2 of her husbands, was that she got really drunk with a new boyfriend and she bragged about killing Barker and the husband that was after him, and his name was Jimmy Don Beets. Another mistake that she had made was she had her children as her accomplices. The day that she killed Jimmy Don Beets, she told her son Robert that she planned on killing Jimmy Don and wanted him to leave the house. Well, 2 hours passed and Robert returned to the house to find Jimmy Don deceased. Jimmy Don himself, who had basically dug his own grave. Okay, y'all, he literally built it or dug his own grave. And also, back when she killed Barker, she called her daughter Shirley, the one that she had told the only way that she could get away from him was, like, to kill him. She demanded that Shirley help her bury him. Well, a few days before she killed Jimmy Don, and I realize it sounds like I'm jumping all over the place, but you'll get it in just a moment. A few days before she killed Jimmy Don, she asked him to build her a wishing well. She wanted to beautify her yard, and she wanted to plant some flowers around it. Well, that's what she told Jimmy Don that wishing well was for. And he was, sorry about that, and he was happy to do it, y'all. That wasn't all that he had built for her either, because before the wishing well, she had him build a storage building on their property because she said that she needed it to store some stuff that was taking up room in their house. But its real purpose was much more sinister. 2 years after Jimmy Don went missing, the authorities received this tip, and I could not find, like, the source of the tip or what the tip was or, anything like that. But it led them to Betty Lou's yard. Now, after some digging, they found the body of Jimmy Don inside a blue sleeping bag inside of that wishing well that he had built for her. Well, after a little more digging around, they found Barker in an identical sleeping bag buried under that storage building that Jimmy Don had also built. Both men had been shot with a .38 caliber pistol. On June the 8th, 1985, Betty Lou was arrested for the murder of Jimmy Don Beets. In the beginning, Betty Lou tried to shift the blame to her children. Now, can you imagine throwing your kids under the bus for murder charges that you know good and well you did? Now, at the trial, her kids and some of her exes testified against her. Now, she was found guilty and sentenced to death by lethal injection. Now, and this is the thing that really gets me, is that she was never charged with Barker's murder and was never put on trial for it. And I know she got the death penalty, but I feel like Barker's family deserved that justice for their loved one too, As you can imagine, there was a lot of appeals that kept things tied up for several years, but in the end, they were all denied. On February 24th of the year 2000, at the age of 62, Betty Lou Beets was the second woman to be executed in Texas after the death penalty was reintroduced. She didn't ask for a final meal. She didn't issue a final statement. She left behind 5 kids, 9 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. Now, Betty Lou had claimed in all her previous marriages that her husbands were abusive to her, but not with Jimmy Don. So why did she kill him? Well, it seems that she took out a $10,000 life insurance policy without him ever even knowing it. She killed him in hopes of getting $10,000. Now, it seems like in the end, it nearly always boils down to greed. Well, that's all I've got for this week's Midweek Mini. Don't forget to come back Friday night for an all-new What the Friday, and you guys have a very good week.